After a midsummer winning streak that saw him claim 3 wins in a row, Kenny Breck comes into the season finale here at Las Vegas with the Pep Boys Indy Racing League Championship title in his grasp. He only needs to finish 9th or better here today to lock it all up. If he wins the race, there's $1 million bonus as well.
Davey Hamilton is second in points heading into this race. He's been the most durable driver. He's led more laps than any other, and he's also been the most consistent with more top 10s. He's been in the top 10 every race but one. Yet, Davey, the question that's haunted you this season and last, when you were also runner-up in the points, you haven't won one. What can you do today to get over that hump?
Well, hopefully, today's the day. We have a great race team. The three-block race team's done me a great job, and we've been up front. We've led the races. We started up front, and we finished up front, but we just can't get that win, and it's just a matter of having a little bit of luck to go along with our speed. And every time we think we're going to win a race, something happens right at the very end of it, and that's happened on 3 or 4 occasions this year. So, hopefully this one's all going to come together. We didn't have a great qualifying run. We have to start back in 13th, but there's only one way to go, hopefully.
He needs to be dominant on the track. He needs to lead laps, and he needs to win the race. He's in his hometown. It'd be a great place to do it.
Tony Stewart is the one driver who has the most to gain and the least to lose here in Las Vegas. He comes into the race 3rd in the championship. Tony, you've always had a give-it-all kind of attitude in your racing. Is that what it's going to take to win this title today?
Yeah, realistically, I wanted to go into my last race being able to stand on the gas and run like I'm accustomed to running and do it Tony Stewart style, not point race style. So, we're worried about going out and winning the race, and Kenny Breck's really going to determine our fate today. So, the only thing we can do is do our part and just win the race, and then we'll see where the cards fall for us.
3 drivers set to battle it out for the Indy Racing League Championship here today at Las Vegas.
TNN Motorsports presents the final round of the 1998 Pep Boys Indy Racing League Championship. From Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it's the Las Vegas 500K. Kenny Breck, Davey Hamilton, and Tony Stewart. One of them will leave here with at least $1 million as the 1998 Series champion. 8 other drivers were in contention 1 race ago, but have been eliminated. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Las Vegas. Mike Joy with Indy 500 champ Tom Sneva. Well, if you had all those chips to slide across the table in the box, for which one of these 3 drivers would you put them?
Well, first of all, Mike, I don't have any chips left, but this championship from a driver's perspective is very, very important. It's real rewarding because they're all after wins. All the drivers like to win races, but to put an entire season together is really what it's all about. Now, some people on the outside don't recognize that, but the driver and the team know how important and how big and how much of a challenge that is. So that's what it's all about from the driver, from the championship point.
Kenny Breck looked a little nervous there in pre-race. Does he have probably the biggest riding on his shoulders right now?
Well, he does. I mean, there's a lot of pressure for both of them. There's a lot of money up for grabs, and but this racetrack is really a driver's racetrack, and all these guys are great race drivers, but the guy that can manage their tire situation the best on this basically flat racetrack is the guy that's going to come out on top. Tire management is not a tire wear problem, but it's a tire fatigue problem. If the car's pushing, you're going to fatigue the right front. If the car's loose, you're going to fatigue the right rear, and the guy that can manage that situation the best is going to be there at the end.
It's a question of balance, knowing when to play those cards and when to hold them. We'll be back with the start of the final race of 1998 and crown our series champion after this. TNN Motorsports coverage of the Pep Boys Indy Racing League is brought to you by Pep Boys. Cars like us, people love us. By Firestone, America's tire since 1900. And by Bargain of the Month. It's a very big deal. Pace laps have begun here at Las Vegas for this final round of the 1998 Pep Boys Indy Racing League. We'll crown a champion and award at least $1 million. Here's how they'll line up today. 5th pole of the year for Billy Boat. That's a record. 7th pole in his last 10 IRL starts. Tony Stewart, the Orlando and New Hampshire winner. In row 2, Marco Greco, his best qualifying of the year, and Greg Ray, who was second at Texas in June. Row 3, Robbie Buell finished second at Colorado in July. Kenny Breck, 3-time winner this year and the point leader. John Paul Jr., who won at Texas just recently, and Jeff Ward, the runner-up at Orlando and Charlotte. Mark Dismore makes his 6th consecutive top 10 start, and Eddie Cheever, the Indy winner. Scott Sharp, a winner at Phoenix and Dover. Buzz Calkins, 6th here 2 years ago. Then Davey Hamilton, one of the title contenders, second at Atlanta. Ari Lyondike, 2-time Indy winner. Scott Goodyear, a close second here a year ago, and Donnie Beechler. Buddy Lazier starts 17th, the 96 Indy winner. Roberto Guerrero. Jim Guthrie, replacing Andy Michner, injured in a Busch Series test crash, and Raul Boisel. Row 11, Steve Knapp, 3rd in the 500 at Indy. Brian Tyler, last year's USAC Sprint champion. Sam Schmidt, who finished 7th in Phoenix, and Stephane Gregoire, who has 4 top 5s this year. Well, Billy Boat shattered the track record by some 7 miles per hour in qualifying. They'll go 208 laps to make up 500 kilometers today, and 28 cars will start the race. Today you're going to ride along with Scott Goodyear. They're in the Pennzoil, number 4. That's number 6, Davey Hamilton. In the Reebok machine, Scott Sharp, the Delphi Electronics, number 8. And Tony Stewart from the outside pole. Green flag is waved. And quickly Billy Boat is out with the lead, and Stewart is falling back. Tommy just got freight trained by the next 2 cars. Tony Stewart drops to 4th.
I'm not sure if he's being very cautious and didn't get through the gears as well as he wanted, but and he's still off the pace. I don't know if he's dropped a cylinder or what's the problem.
They've split him again and again. Tony Stewart from outside pole in 1 lap has dropped to 8th place.
Oh, tight traffic on both sides of him.
One car slow into turn 1, way up high by the wall. Could be Marco Greco. No, it isn't. It's Buzz Calkins. Buzz Calkins, after 1 lap, slows,
at the bottom of the track.
Stayed way up high out of everyone's way, and Stewart is just being freight trained by the field. We're used to seeing this, but going the other way with Tony Stewart, rocketing past cars.
No kidding. You know, they've had motor trouble the last couple races. They've actually changed motor manufacturers. They've gone to a Comtech engine and thinking that would solve their problem, but, you know, some kind of problem early for Tony.
Ralph Shaheen, what's the trouble with Tony Stewart?
Boy, Mike, they wish they knew. Nothing from Larry Curry down here right now. They're looking at all their computer information. They're talking on the radio. They have no idea. But Tom Steve is right. They did switch to a new engine from Comtech, and 2 of those engines were changed earlier this morning in Mark Dismore's car and Jeff Ward's car. So it's not been a good weekend for Comtech engines, but we don't know if that's a problem just yet.
Well, Tony Stewart has now dropped tail end of the field. There are just 2 cars running behind him.
It's a little unusual that he hasn't bothered to come into pits and address the problem, so maybe it's nothing as serious as we what might be led to believe.
So Tony Stewart, new engine supplier. It's still the Oldsmobile Aurora engine, but he's dropped well to the tail end of the field. Let's go back to his pit and Ralph.
Mike, I just heard Larry Curry telling Tony to try another gear now. So remember, there are 3 high-end gears in these cars, and he might have them shifting down to another one to see if he can get something to change there as far as RPMs and revs.
Well, they do that a lot. They run, like Ralph indicated, there's 2 or 3 top gears in most of these gearboxes. They differ by only 150 RPM or so, and that doesn't look like it's going to solve his problem at this point.
Buzz Calkins has picked the pace back up. He just passed Jack Miller, and they are running on the track just ahead of Tony Stewart. And we key on Tony in part because this is his last full-time IRL race. He goes to the Winston Cup Series for Joe Gibbs next year and may run only the Indy 500 in these cars. And Stewart wanted to go out of here not with a whimper but with a bang, and right now he's going to the pits. Billy Bolt will overlap him there at turn 3, and Stewart's coming in. Whoa, he loses it. He's down on the track apron, out of harm's way, and caution will wave for Tony Stewart at turn 4. Out of harm's way as far as no one collecting him as he completed the spin.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. It's pretty flat entering the pit road, and I don't know if he's trying to hustle a little bit too much or if something finally gave up on the motor.
Well, one thing, Tom, the pit road speed limit here is not enforced until the turn into the garage area because the pit road is so long and the IRL cars don't use the entire length of it. So Stewart may have just come onto pit road too hot. It's a frequent possibility here because the 80-mile-an-hour speed limit doesn't start for, another 500 feet or so. So Tony Stewart will lose a second lap as Billy Boat comes past under this first caution of the afternoon.
Well, pretty frustrating start for Tony. Let's just hope it's not the end of his day.
Billy Boat is your leader in Las Vegas. Greg Ray has moved up into the second spot. We'll be right back with you live here on TNN. 3 men came into this race fighting for $1 million championship. Now we may be down to just 2. The engine cover has come off Tony Stewart's car. He was towed to his pit after spinning, entering the pit road. Let's get an update from Ralph.
Well, Mike, they're doing all the things you normally would do with one of these engines. They're pulling out the black box. They're talking about changing the spark box as well. Remember, this is a new engine. This is the first time this team has run an engine that has not been built in their shop. They feel like they've had strong engines, but they were concerned about the reliability. I mean, how many races have we seen Tony Stewart this year out front dominating, and then a trail of white smoke comes out of the back of the car? Comtech is the people that are building the engine that they have chosen to run here today. Scott Sharp had a change in an engine first thing this morning, as did Jeff Ward. Those 2 drivers also running the same engine. We also heard them talking that they were able to look at the computer that the right side of the engine they thought might be the problem.
Tony's now gone 4 laps down as we're back to green. And Jeff Ward challenges second spot. He gets underneath Greg Ray with that yellow car into turn 1.
Well, Greg Ray isn't done with that second spot yet. He was actually gaining on Billy Boat before we had the yellow, Mike. So Jeff tried to get him to snicker him a little bit at the beginning, but both cars are running very well.
Jeff Ward battling for second, gives it back to Greg Ray. Tom, this track looks on TV like it's got a pretty good bank, but you get out there and it sure must feel pretty flat.
Yeah, no kidding. The drivers have really been scratching their head. They just came off of a Texas racetrack that was more highly banked, a lot easier for the guys to set up, and these guys have struggled a little bit trying to get the balance of these cars right.
So out front is Billy Boat, a place we've been accustomed to seeing him as long as that car has been underneath him this year. And Greg Ray having a fine run here in second spot.
Well, we've seen Billy a lot of times throughout the races this season been a little bit slow in restarts, but again today on the first 2 starts of this race has no problems.
Kenny Breck is running in 9th, and Davey Hamilton is 14th among the championship contenders. And Ari Leyendijk has come from 14th to 7th in just 9 green flag laps. Tony Stewart is coming back on the Speedway, and he is 6 laps down, but he's going to make 1 lap and come back to pit lane. A terribly frustrating day, and caution waves again. Debris, a little bit of debris here along the front straightaway.
There's debris on the front straightaway. Turn 4 is car 11. Go ahead and pull out, pace car. Go low, cars. Go low, cars on the front straightaway. Cars go low on the front straightaway.
Trying to keep the cars down to the inside. It looks like a flat piece of material painted black and red came off one of the cars.
There it is. You can see there. But we heard all that instruction from race control, letting the pace car know what to do, and the teams are privy to that information, so they can hear all that communication, which is really an advantage for everybody from a safety standpoint.
Piece of tubing there. It had been flattened by someone running over it, and a little piece of sheet metal as well. So we're under the second caution of the day. And I'll see if Tony Stewart can get back in this race and in this championship chase after this. TNN Motorsports coverage of the Pep Boys Indy Racing League is brought to you by Peerless Faucet, the do-it-for-yourself faucet. Billy Boat leads here in Las Vegas. The odds are pretty good on Billy Boat. But then again, Elvis gave the command to fire engines today. So.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If Elvis is thinking right, he will not leave this building before that checkered flag comes down.
Yeah, right. Kenny Breck, the point leader, is on pit road, coming down at 80 miles an hour.
Well, this can't be a scheduled stop, so either the balance of the car is way off and they're going to try to change something, and let's hope that's the only problem he's got.
Breck rolls to a halt in front of Ralph.
Well, Mike, they're going to change all 4 tires. Now, Kenny Breck made an engine change this morning as well, and it looks like they might be taking the engine cover off of his car. Yes, they are. They found water in a cylinder earlier this morning and changed an engine. Now they decide not to take it off. Well, there's some discrepancy here. They're not sure what they want to do. AJ is barking out orders as well from over the pit wall. The crew trying to decide exactly what they want to do. They did change tires, but apparently that was not the main concern. AJ barking orders to Kenny Breck. We told you how Kenny was very nervous earlier this morning. He has been struggling all day, and there is a lot of frustration here now as we go back to green.
There was about a lot of it in turn 1.
No kidding. Eddie Cheever sort of split the sheets right there. I mean, that was unbelievable. They might have had contact with Greg Ray in the black car.
That was so close, and the momentum that Greg Ray lost has taken him 15 car lengths behind these 2 cars fighting for second.
Well, he didn't lose any heartbeats. He might have lost the momentum.
Happiest guy in Las Vegas at this moment, Davey Hamilton. Because point leader Kenny Breck is still in the pits. He's just gone 2 laps down.
Well, he's just exiting the pits right now, and so he's a lap or so back, and this is really going to make this championship race exciting.
One of 3 men can win it. Right now, 2 of them have had misfortune on the way to trying to lose it.
Well, and the other one, Davey, has really struggled all weekend and has been very disappointed in the way the car's performed up till now, but he's got to be smiling a little bit broader at this.
Davey Hamilton's in 10th place. Billy Boat is your leader. Jeff Ward is second. Eddie Cheever with a very bold move that put him up to 3rd. And Greg Ray's 4th place is in doubt. Now Greg Ray is dropping back.
I'm not sure what's happened to Greg. He was actually catching Billy Boat early in the race, and then after that first yellow, we see Lyondike there, the black and white car that's made a big jump through the field since the start of this race.
Mark Dismore and Marco Greco all go past Greg Ray. What is wrong with the 97 car?
Again, a strong run early. Greg Ray's had an up and down season. Financially, it's been tough for that team to make all the races, but they've always been very, very competitive.
Stefan Gregoire on pit road. Trouble in qualifying for Gregoire. He started toward the back of the field and will lose a lap changing tires. This is starting to look like either someone in Hollywood wrote the script or it's the race nobody wants to win. Save Billy Boat. He's been out in front every lap. Gregoire completes his pit stop back in the race. It's Boat, Ward, Cheever, Lyondike now 4th, and Mark Dismore up for 5th place. And they're about to get into lapped cars.
Well, there's a lot of traffic here. Some good racing going back there. That red-white car is John Paul, the winner of the last race, and he's working his way forward.
He and Sam Schmidt right behind him. Good run for Sam there. The yellow car with the red nose on the inside going to pick up a spot. Now you ride with Davey Hamilton.
Again, he's in traffic, a lot of traffic going. That's Greg Ray going by or dropping back on the right side. It's spotter giving him the clear sign.
We're told that Scott Sharp will pit this lap. Another of the contenders in trouble.
Again, a lot of these guys are struggling with this engine department. The racing is getting so competitive, they'll do anything they can to try to gain a little advantage, and it looks like it's backfiring on some of these teams.
So Sharp is on pit road, 2-time winner this year, former co-champion of this series, and they've got 4 tires laid out for Scott Sharp.
This is Robbie Buell on the outside in the blue car, and again, that's Tony Stewart's teammate.
Working hard there, but couldn't make the pass. Those 2 guys almost got caught up together on the restart. Watch this.
Well, that's the blue car. That's Eddie Cheever and Greg Ray. You can see there, it looks like there might have been contact there. I mean, it caused Greg to do a speed wobble anyway. And then since then, Greg Ray has been out of contention. I'm not sure if they might upset a toe on one of those tires, because it looks like they touched either right front or right rear.
We'll try and find out. At the very least, I thought he just lost his momentum, but then Greg Ray continued to drift back through the pack. Scott Sharp is back in the race after making the pit stop. Also, Jack Miller has just made a stop and is re-entering the race.
And Greg Ray is in. He's pitted.
Well, an unbelievable amount of green flag pit stops in these first 30 laps. Buddy Lazier just took a spot from Davey Hamilton.
Well, that's just Jeff Ward.
Wardy coming around to lead Billy Vogt across, and that's the lead change as Scott Sharp comes back to pit road. Greg Ray completes his stop. He's going back out. So first lead change of the day puts Jeff Ward out front. Vince Welch, what's wrong with Greg Ray?
They just changed all 4 tires and made some front wing adjustment, but other than that, no significant changes in Greg Ray. And from the left side of the car anyway, I could see no indication that he had any trouble out on the track, at least involving another driver. There was no damage on the left side of the car whatsoever, so they just changed the tires. Greg had a little bit of trouble getting out of the pits. They thought initially he'd stalled it, but then finally spun him away, and out he goes. So we'll keep an eye on Ray and see if he can move his way back toward the front.
And the report from Scott Sharp's pit is a rear wing problem has brought Sharp back in for the second time, where he sits on pit road. Work continues on his car and that of Tony Stewart's, 2 drivers that we thought would be in contention for the win today. There's Scott sitting waiting. Work goes on behind him, and he confers with the crew.
Well, as we go back to the racetrack, I mean, Ward is definitely going away, and Boat's falling back. He's back to 4th. There's Kenny Breck on the racetrack, the point leader, and he's not up to speed.
No, he's in 25th position, 3 laps down. Ralph?
Well, we're down here, Mike, with his crew chief, John King. John, what was the problem with the engine?
Well, I don't know. On a restart, it's running flat, so I don't know. We got an electrical problem somewhere.
Now, you've got to finish 9th or better. Do you think it'll be strong enough to do that?
I don't know. It's a little early to tell right now.
At this point, Mike, they're really going to keep their fingers crossed and hope they can get him back into position.
Well, let's update the point situation for you. Breck, of course, is the leader. If he finishes 9th or better, doesn't matter what anyone else does. Tony Stewart is in a position of having to win the race, and Davey Hamilton doesn't have to win to take the title, but he needs a Kenny Breck finish outside of the top 10. All of those are within the realm of possibility here with 32 laps complete.
Well, we've got Cheever and Leyendijk. Leyendijk's putting a lot of pressure on Eddie right now. That's Eddie right there in the black and white car.
And Leyendijk said earlier in the weekend, he is so frustrated the way his season will go on, he doesn't know what he'll do next year.
Well, they've changed engines also. They've been running the Roush motors all year, and they've gone, I believe, to the Comtech situation. So didn't qualify that well, but is putting all kinds of pressure. He started way back, and he's running 3rd and giving Cheever all he wants and maybe a little he didn't want.
Cheever. Comtech, a company that first came to light in the racing world, building 2.5-liter Acura engines for the IMSA GT Championship. He moved into Indy racing and had considerable success. If Davey Hamilton does not lead the most laps today, then Breck would have to finish 11th to wrap up the title. That's if Hamilton were to win the race. And right now, with Davey running back in 16th position, that is possible but not likely. And Mark Dismore appears to be off the pace as they come past.
Well, again, it's that tire management. These guys were okay early in the run, but as they put laps on these tires, the balance, if it's a little bit off, is going to be compounded, and they're starting to fatigue some of these tires.
Donnie Beechler has gone past Billy Vogt, who again drifts back. John Paul has moved up into the 5th spot. How about Sam Schmidt from nearby Henderson? This has got to be the best run of the season for Sam. He's right now in 7th place, challenging Vogt, along with Buddy Lazier, Marco Greco.
Yeah, and I think they must have all the pillows puffed up in that Best Western car today.
Sam Schmidt finished 7th at Phoenix earlier this season, but he's on track to eclipse that as he moves on Billy Vogt down to turn 1. The yellow car is Schmidt with the red nose. It's Marco Greco just behind.
And just right around the outside of the pole sitter, Billy Vogt.
Well, now I wonder if Billy's car has a problem or if he's just starting, as you said, to manage his resources and run the car to a pace.
Well, the pace is dictated by what's happening with those tires, and he's not running nearly as quick as he wants to be running. So he's forced to run this pace, and he's not happy about it.
Tony Stewart is back on the Speedway. We want to point out he is 27 laps down, Ralph.
Mike, they changed absolutely everything electrical on that car. They had no idea exactly where the problem was. They just changed everything electrical on the car, and now race leader Jeff Ward getting ready to make his first pit stop.
Well, this would be a scheduled stop as we come up on 40 laps. 39 complete, despite the 2 brief caution periods. Here is Ward.
Somebody out of the group there.
Jeff Ward is down on the apron. As Scott Goodyear slows down the front straightaway. What a bizarre turn of events in these first 40 laps.
Well, now, this is Ward in. These are scheduled stops. Most of them thought they could go 40 laps. We're at 39.
And Eddie Cheever will pick up the lead from Jeff Ward.
We'll have to see if they make what adjustments they make, if we can see them, if it's more than air pressure.
Ralph?
Well, they're going to work on the tires first. No adjustments yet unless they made them with air pressure. They're putting fuel in that looks like that's it. Remember, Jeff Ward's running one of those Top-Tech engines as well. They changed one early this morning as well, so you know they're keeping their fingers crossed.
Davey Hamilton is pitting. One of the point-standing contenders for the championship. Hamilton is in. He gives up 16th place to do it as pit stops begin under green.
Well, good stop by Ward. Again, not any major wing adjustments, so whatever they did, they had to do it with air pressure.
Routine-looking stop for Hamilton. Cold drink on a hot day. There's a wing adjustment.
Big wing adjustment there. I mean, they cranked on that thing for a good turn or two.
So Davey Hamilton back into the fray, and he will give up a lap to the race leader. Now here's the 15 car in. Jim Guthrie got the call last week to drive this Reebok car, the Riley and Scott machine, because Andy Michner, who was driving for the injured Eliseo Salazar, winner of this race last year, Michner crashed in his Busch Grand National car testing at Homestead.
Yeah, and it was only a day or two. Actually, they tried to get hold of Tice Carlson, and he'd already started this way. He missed the call, and they were in a panic, so Guthrie got the call.
And so they're going to driver with a lot of IRL experience and the ability, hopefully, to help advance the Riley and Scott program. So Ari Luyendyk is the new leader with pit stops under green. 43 laps are complete. Last lap for Luyendyk, 187 miles an hour. He is due pit side soon. We'll be right back. We are under caution here in Las Vegas at 46 laps. Dave Steele, who came up out of the tough Florida Sprint Car Wars and starts his third IRL race as a teammate, second as a teammate to Scott Goodyear. Brushed the wall in turn number 4, kicked up a whole lot of dust, managed to keep it under control and keep going. Now there's the repairs being made to Steele's number 43. Here's what happened.
Well, here's the replay. This is coming off of turn 4. You can see him way out of the groove early, and he hits her pretty good, right rear first. So he just, the car's either pushing out of the groove. We'd actually seen him up there a couple laps previous to that, scratching on that gray area, and you just can't get away with that forever.
There is no cushion up there. Ari Luyendyk, your race leader, is in. Vince?
Ari Luyendyk's car has been handling very well, but he has had a little bit of push in traffic, but when he's on his own and on the track, he's very quick. So they made a slight adjustment in the front wing, and they put on 4 new tires, and that's it. And away Ari goes with a very strong start to this Las Vegas 500K.
Well, I don't know if you saw him. There was a crew guy really reefing on the radiator inlet area. I'm not sure what he was doing there.
Eddie Cheever got out of the pits first, it appears. Now, 9 cars, make that 10, are on the lead lap as a result of some drivers having pitted under green before this caution came out. So Luyendyk will drop down the order a bit. Now, they had given the 1-to-go sign, so everybody was pitting, anticipating the restart, and they'll have to do some work to catch up the field. The old Aurora pace car is in, and here they come to the green flag, led by Scott Sharp, who is not the race leader. And Cheever is slow getting up to speed.
Yeah, Eddie's slowed down. They're going by Eddie. I'm not sure what's happening to these guys. Again, in a rush to get out of the pits and get caught up with the pack before it went green.
Now Cheever's accelerating and moving past some of the cars that had overhauled him. So a bunch of drivers who were at the tail end of the lead lap and lined up behind the pace car, including Davey Hamilton and Kenny Breck. Well, now we're trying to catch back up as the race leader runs in the pack behind them, and that is Arie Luyendyk. Luyendyk and Buddy Lazier scramble for the lead. John Paul in third. So it's Lazier in the back straightaway, made the pass going into turn one. That purple and green Hemmelgarn Delta Faucet machine dives underneath one of the Reebok cars, Jim Guthrie, and he's got a pretty good cushion on Luyendyk. Two-lap cars separate them.
Well, Buddy has really struggled qualifying this year, but he's been very confident about his race situation. So, you know, as time goes on, people were concerned. I know Foyt's group was real concerned about the Goodyear, the right front. He wasn't sure they decided on the right front for this racetrack and these conditions. And we got Buddy Lazier leading, starting way back. That's Kenny Breck right in front of him. So Kenny's still struggling.
Now Breck is in 21st position, Tom, and he is 2 laps down. But now Davey Hamilton, because of the green flag pit stop, is also listed 2 laps down.
Well, a lot of guys got caught out. I don't know if it was the fuel management situation or the balance in the car was just so bad that they had to come in a little bit earlier than they normally would. So they had fuel on board the cars, but they just wanted to get in and try to get the chassis squared off, and the yellow came at a real unfortunate time for these guys.
For more on Lazier, here's Vince Welch as you look at a full field rundown, top of your screen. Vince?
Buddy Lazier's car is running very well. Ron Himmelgarn just told me a moment ago they made a slight change in the tire pressure, but other than that, no adjustments to the Delta Faucet machine. It is running very smooth, and this is something we're used to with Buddy Lazier. He qualifies towards the middle of the pack and wastes no time
we got to spin
towards the front.
One car hard in the wall between turns 3 and 4. Looks like Billy Boat. It is a hard crash, and it is Boat.
Well, that thing really took off in a hurry. I'm not sure what happened just on the entry, just before the middle of the corner, but it backed in awfully hard.
Looks like it's taken the wheels from the car on the one side as the whole field is slowed down.
Well, the good news, Billy's getting out, so that's really good news because that car went in hard.
Boat still recovering from injuries sustained at Dover. In fact, he asked the doctor the other day, he said, Doc, how long am I going to have this little limp and pain? And the doctor said, look, most people are on workman's comp for a year after an injury like yours. You're back racing Indy cars.
Well, you can see he's holding his lower leg, so, and it's his left one that he's feeling some irritation to. But again, he looks like he's all right.
That's the best news, is that he's able to climb out of that car under his own power.
It doesn't look like he wants to get out and put much pressure on that leg, though, right now, Mike.
No, I would agree. Now, let's take a look here, Tom, at the right sides. I'm not sure. Well, looks like the right front is up. The left front, of course, was damaged in the crash, so it would be hard to tell looking at the car from here if it was a tire problem. Both the right side tires are up.
Yeah, they are. I mean, something surprised him. I'm not sure what it was, but again, both right sides got air in them, and but that was an unusual spot for the car to take off, so it definitely surprised him, whatever it was.
So Billy Boat, the pole sitter, in the 6th races he has started on pole. He has failed to finish 4 of them, counting today. A very hard crash and a very, I won't say lucky driver, I'll say fortunate that these cars are built to such a high standard that after a hard crash like that into the concrete, Billy is able to sit up and wait for the ambulance to arrive and give him a lift to the care center.
They've made some big improvements over the first year in this series, and fortunately for these drivers that they made it a lot better, a lot safer, because that thing went in hard backwards.
So we're under caution here at Las Vegas. This will be the 4th one of the day. Buddy Lazier leads Arie Luyendyk and Eddie Cheever. We'll be right back to Las Vegas. Welcome back to Las Vegas. You're watching the final round of the Pep Boys Indy Racing League for 1998. One of 3 drivers will leave here with at least $1 million for winning the series championship. Will it be Kenny Breck, who has struggled and now finds himself in 20th position? Will it be Davey Hamilton, who is just 1 spot ahead of Breck in 19th? Or could it be Tony Stewart, who is running in 29th position and is some 27 laps down at this moment?
Well, it's amazing. Even last year, Davey was in the same situation, to take advantage of a point situation, and really couldn't do much with it because everybody around him is having troubles, but he can't seem to do anything about it right now.
Well, Kenny Breck won the Atlanta 500 Classic, won the Visionaire 500 at Charlotte to ensure that he and a fan will split at least $100,000. If he wins here today, he and a fan would split $1 million through the MCI Pep Boys Million contest.
Very nice price, obviously, you know, to be able to offer to the drivers in the league and to the fans.
It's going to be Kenny Breck taking over the point as Ward drops back to second as Greco gave him the pick in the opening, and Breck goes to the lead.
Kenny Breck takes the checkered flag and wins the 1998 Visionaire 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I used to win a lot in Europe, and it's funny because when I crossed the finish line, all them feelings that I had, you know, I used to win, all came back, you know. So it was nice, very nice.
Here comes Kenny Breck. He's got those right side tires, making left side tires right on that white line as he makes his way down the low side of turns 1 and 2, now on to 3. Kenny Breck is working well. He's going after 3 in a row here tonight, Bob.
Kenny Breck wins the Atlanta 500 Classic and makes history.
It feels good, you know, to know that there's a good prize if you be able to do a good job. It doesn't change the strategy going into every race. You still have to do as good as you can. It doesn't put any more pressure on me. I've had that question asked if there's a lot of pressure now, but the biggest pressure I feel is for myself. I want to do as well as possible. If we do well enough, it's going to come our way. If not, then we'll try again next year.
He has got his sights set on a $1 million bonus that he could be splitting with the fan. And at this point, if I was him, I'd hop on a plane and go to Vegas because he's got some luck that is working for him right now. Everything's going right for Kenny Breck.
So Kenny Breck and a fan who enter that sweepstakes of Pep Boys will split at least $100,000 today. You know, the Swedes and the Finns are so reserved. When Kenny Breck or Mika Hakkinen wins a Formula One race for McLaren, he says, yes, we had a very good result today. That's a huge display of emotion.
I know, it's amazing. But, you know, with those kinds of awards from MCI, I mean, a guy can make a lot of phone calls with that.
Yes, he could. Jeff Ward has made another pit stop under this caution flag. Ralph, what problem were they trying to cure?
Mike, they're doing a couple of interesting things. The first problem was a vibration in the tires, so that's why they came in early, changed tires and fueled him up and got him back out. Then the yellow came, and they brought him back in. And the reason for that is now by filling him up, they are 10 laps in advantage here under fuel mileage, and they're running on the track some 2 miles an hour faster than the rest of the field. They're feeling very confident. Now, Tom Sneven, there's one other problem Jeff Ward is having with his tires, according to his crew chief, Mitch Davis. He's warming them up under yellow wrong. Wardy is spinning his tires like a dragster driver would do on a burnout. Of course, you know, Tom, majority of the drivers need to weave back and forth to blow all that dust off. The difference, Tom, I'm assuming would be huge between spinning the tires and weaving back and forth.
Well, I'm not sure how huge that is, but, you know, to get heat in him, if he's able to spin the tires, I mean, obviously the tire's a little bit harder than it needs to be, and that allows him to do that. Now, at the last race, Goodyear was maybe a little too close to the edge and had some tire problems, but here they've been a little more conservative, and to get temperature in those tires, sometimes spinning them is the fastest way to get that done.
Still under caution here at Las Vegas as they have cleaned up from Billy Boat's crash. Jim Guthrie making a pit stop as we continue and finish cleanup. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Mike Joy with Tom Sneva. They have just restarted this race 1 lap ago. Buddy Lazier continues to lead Ari Lyondike, Eddie Cheever, Scott Goodyear, and Sam Schmidt up in the top 5. Donnie Beechler is 6th. Brian Tyler, Steve Knapp, Jeff Ward, Marco Greco, and John Paul are the cars on the lead lap. Paul just made a pit stop with 1 lap to go before we went back to green.
Sort of got caught at the back of the pack, but he's been about as quick as anybody. But right now you see Lyondike all over Lazier, so this is going to get fun.
Leaders enter turn 3. And Eddie Cheever's about a dozen lengths back. Let's have a look at the restart and show you how they came off to begin this green flag segment.
Cheever got a pretty good run right there on the outside, but Lyondike lost that spot.
That's how they restarted. Now these two have opened up quite a separation. On third place, Eddie Cheever, who's running all by himself on the racetrack. Scott Goodyear then leads the pack from there on back.
A lot of good racing back in the pack after that restart. It's just really tough to give the home viewer all that's happening out there because there's lots of action.
And John Paul, who made that pit stop just prior, 1 lap prior to the green flag, he's been trying to work race traffic, but from the back, already he is half a lap behind the race leader. Once those cars at the front get going, they disappear pretty quickly.
Well, there's a lot of traffic out there. I mean, there's a lot of cars, and it's just tough. You got to be careful. You just can't afford to make a mistake. You got to make sure the guy in front of you sees you when you're trying to make a pass.
The yellow car is Brian Tyler down on the inside, trying to gain some ground here. Tyler running in 7th position. The second yellow car, Jeff Ward, jumps underneath him, and Wardy's going to move up and take that 7th spot away.
Well, Tyler last night was in Sacramento in a dirt car and finished 6th, so he's getting a little bit of double duty this weekend.
New sponsor on that car and new paint job, that yellow and aqua on the 81 of Brian Tyler, Baytan, a tanning product. Probably a lot of that in use in the grandstand today here. The new product that has some ties. It's not an official product of the Baywatch series, but has some ties to that. And
well, I know nobody's mad at their PR people that are around that race car this afternoon.
Greg Ray is on pit road. Once again, the best access, number 97, of the Dallas area driver, is in for an unscheduled stop.
Well, again, very strong early, but on a restart, him and Cheever looked like they got together, and since then, he struggled.
That sponsor on Ray's car used to be known as Best Lock. They're in industrial security. 96 of the top Fortune 100 companies. Really enjoying their first foray into motorsports. Scott Goodyear battling Sam Schmidt. Well, I say battling, with Schmidt that just passed him.
Well, I know Sam's been going to the front, doing a great job. Sam, a Las Vegas resident, so this is his home track, and, you know, this is the best we've seen him all year.
Again, watch your mirror.
Now, was Goodyear out of the throttle a long time, did it sound like?
Well, longer than he wanted to. The driver never likes to get out of the throttle if he can help it, but he had to roll out a little bit on the exit, so I don't know if he felt like he might have been losing the front end and had to breathe the engine to get the tire to bite again.
Once again, your championship contenders, Kenny Breck is 20th, 3 laps off the pace. Davey Hamilton is 17th, 2 laps down. And Tony Stewart is now 26th. But Stewart is 28 laps behind after engine or electrical difficulties early in the race caused him to spend a lot of time on pit road. So the points in the positions they're running now would have Kenny Breck 28 points ahead of Davey Hamilton.
Well, Davey's closing the gap, but not nearly quick enough. Davey needs to get the balance in that car better, or he can kiss that championship goodbye.
And he's got to find a way to make up a couple of laps on the leader to improve on that result, because Hamilton is running 2 laps down, and there are 6 cars on the same lap as Davey. So without getting one of those laps back, he can only climb about 3 positions.
Well, we see Jeff Ward here and Robbie Unser in the children's beverage car, and Robbie got down early, but you can see now he's running as quick as Ward, and Ward's one of the quickest cars, even though he's only up to 7th. But again, Ward's maybe the quickest car in the racetrack, and Robbie Unser's giving him all he wants. It's just that Robbie got down a lap early.
Yep, Robbie is 12th right now, 1 lap off the pace. So Buddy Lazier leads from Ari Lyondike, Eddie Cheever, Sam Schmidt, Scott Goodyear, the top 5. Then Donnie Beechler, Jeff Ward, Brian Tyler. We'll be right back. Rush hour traffic in the back straightaway here at Las Vegas. 1 lap ago, Davey Hamilton had a checkup running behind Jim Guthrie and just got inhaled and overhauled by the race leaders. Now he picks his way around.
And that's Buddy Lazier just going by Roberto Guerrero in the Infinity. 2 Infinities in the race here today.
1 left. Jack Miller's car has already been pushed to the garage. But Guerrero's been getting some good results for the Infinity power plant. We're at 79 laps with Lazier in command. And Lyondike trying to track him down. The difference first to second is only about a second. 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, but he can't get away from Ari, and I think the balance on his car he isn't real happy with. So it'll be interesting after the next pit stop to see if they can make those adjustments.
Riding with Scott Goodyear, looking back at Donnie Beechler.
Goodyear running 5th, and Beechler's up to 6th, having a good run, Donnie is. You can see him play with the throttle. He wants to get after it, but it just wouldn't accept it, so he had to just pump it a little bit.
That's a big day for Beechler. He's looking for his 2nd top 10 finish of the season. He was 10th in Colorado, and he's running 6th here. Ralph has more on Scott Goodyear.
Mike, he had a real bad push earlier on that last pit stop. They brought him in. They tightened up the front end of that car, so you'll be able to see that difference as he's out there now.
Well, we hear him feathering that throttle. Doesn't sound like he's completely off it, Tom, like he was before for such a long time.
No, I mean, you can hear him roll out of it, and he only probably rolls out to 50%. You know, in the pits, they can tell exactly in the telemetry how much he's rolling out of it, but, you know, his rear end's telling him it won't accept any more.
An update on Billy Vogt. As he climbed from the car, we saw that he was able to put all of his weight on that previously injured left leg and walk to the ambulance without much help. So that's very good news on Billy Vogt. And shot of Greg Ray there, who is in pit road again. Ralph?
Mike, been a long day for this team. The big problem early on was he did not feel comfortable in the car at all. Said it was floaty, really wiggly out on the racetrack. So they spent a lot of time tightening him up. And now they're taking a look at the engine as well. So things just not going well for Greg Ray as they work at the back end of the car now.
Well, we got a great race going on here. Jeff Ward, the 2nd yellow car, just going around Goodyear. Again, Ward just really caught him in traffic and had to roll out of it a little bit, but it didn't take him long to get the job done.
Ward knives to the inside of Cheever, and that will be for 4th place. Now Goodyear trying to make the move on Eddie.
And we heard that Cheever is complaining about a loose condition, so they've told him over the radio they're going to change air pressure on the next stop on Cheever's car. Again, you can see Eddie just take away the front end of Goodyear's car a little bit there, so I'm not sure he saw Scotty.
And Beechler's right there as well. In fact, there are 2 cars right behind Goodyear. Looks like Robbie Buell trying to come up. Buell is 1 lap down, trying to work his way back up. Watching behind Scott Goodyear, that is Robbie Buell. Then Beechler and Brian Tyler, the yellow and aqua car. Let's go to Vince Welch outside the care center.
You can see Billy Vogt's shoe untied. Billy, what did Dr. Bach tell you after the accident?
Basically okay. You know, I think I broke my little toe, but after what I've been through, little toes, not too much right now. You know, the Conseco car was really great at the start. It just went loose for whatever reason, and I got behind, was slowed way down and got behind, and I was just pushing it, trying to catch up. got out from under me.
No after effects from your earlier injury. It's the same leg.
I feel it, but it's okay.
Billy Boat, he's been on the pole so many times this season, but he won't get to victory lane. Not today in Las Vegas.
Well, DNF in the races he started on pole. Tough break for Billy. Good to know he's okay.
Yeah, that's really good. But Billy pretty well summed it up. You know, he got in trouble early, and he was trying to make up ground and just pressed a little too hard. And, you know, it's just really hard for the TV to show you how close these guys run to the ragged edge in every corner. It looks like they're just driving around the place. But, you know, when you're sitting in that driver's seat, these guys are right on the edge. And when you're trying to make up ground, you got to press a little bit hard. And in Billy's case, he said he pressed her a little bit too hard.
Well, sometimes in this town, doubling your bet when you're down is a good strategy. Not always. Greg Ray is back on pit road yet again as we come up on the 70-lap mark here in the final Pep Boys IRL race of 1998. Buddy Lazier is your leader. From Ari Leyendijk, Jeff Ward, Sam Schmidt's up to 4th, and Scott Goodyear is now just taking 5th. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where Buddy Lazier's lead over Ari Leyendijk stands at 1.8 seconds. Jeff Ward is taking 3rd, Sam Schmidt, Scott Goodyear, Donnie Beechler. The top half dozen, Brian Tyler having a good run today. John Paul Jr., Steve Knapp, and Eddie Cheever has just gone a lap down.
Yeah, he's complaining about a loose race car. I think that surprised some of these guys. They thought they had a good, solid right front tire, and the right rears must be going away on these guys because the car gets loose. I mean, there's two options. One's crashing, the other one's slowing down. Normally, they take the latter of the two.
Jim Guthrie has now been in the pits for 3 laps as they work on his car. They have tires laid out for Stefan Gregoire. And I think that's Stan Waddles, who's also making a stop for fuel and tires.
Again, Lazier, we hear him calling in now, and he's complaining that his car's starting to go loose, and again, entering the pits.
So the leader will be in this time. 97 laps complete. And he'll give up the lead to Leyendijk here at the stripe.
Well, again, Leyendijk inherits the lead, but actually Jeff Ward had been the fastest car in the racetrack.
Gary Lee told a story on Speed Vision's qualifying yesterday. He said Ron Helmegard found a toy in a McDonald's Happy Meal with these colors on it and decided the purple and the green, that's just the colors for my race car, and that's how they painted it.
I'm not sure. There's a lot of sugar at McDonald's. He might have had a sugar fit or something.
It's certainly one of the more distinctive paint jobs. Lazier is back out. Ari Leyendijk becomes the race leader once again.
Getting a great race for Ari right here. He's struggled the last half of the season, if not all season. And again, they made an engine change. Leyendijk in now for his pit stop.
So he will give up the lead then to Jeff Ward, who was in not long ago. Leyendijk has 5 top 10 finishes this season.
And it just looks like they're creeping in at this 80-mile-an-hour speed limit. And it's so frustrating from a driver, but you just got to keep the button pressed.
4th at Charlotte, his best finish of the year. 4th, his best qualifying effort as well. Sam Schmidt is in. Schmidt's a top 5 runner today. There's Schmidt coming into the pit as Leyendijk leaves, and here's your new leader, Jeff Ward.
Well, that got a little close with Sam coming in as Ari was leading.
Schmidt from Henderson came out of initially the SCCA Spec Racer Series, moved on up the ladder, and finds himself in Indy cars with a chance today for his best finish ever.
Well, good stop by that, good clean stop by that crew.
Ran the Formula Continental Series that Mark Dismore's son is racing in the national championships of this morning. Greg Ray back in. Brian Tyler has made his pit stop. Now these are all scheduled pit stops under green. Donnie Beechler.
This is Beach doing a great job. You can see the Wild Wild West sign on the side of it. They called up and were able to get some free rooms. When they got there, they didn't realize it was a truck stop casino, so they were a little bit surprised when they got here to Las Vegas.
One top 10 finish for Beechler this year. That came at Pikes Peak, which will have 2 races in next year's IRL schedule. A couple announcements this weekend. Of course, the schedule released for next year. 2 races at Pikes Peak, 1 at the other venues. Coors announcing yesterday as the official beer of the Pep Boys Indy Racing League. And the USAC Silver Crown Series will now be the Coors Light Silver Bullet Series. So depthening their involvement in open wheel racing.
Well, that's good to see more big-time sponsors coming to the series.
Halfway this time by, and Jeff Ward. And the Thermotech number 35 will take the crossed flag sign.
We saw him about a half a lap ago going by Tony Stewart, so Tony's out there, but it's not very much fun when you're that far off the pace, and you just got to sort of hang on and try to finish.
Well, let's update our point runners. Kenny Breck, the point leader, is in 20th position. He is more than 4 laps down. Davey Hamilton is in 16th place. He is 3 laps down, and his title hopes are fading rapidly. While Tony Stewart has climbed to 24th position, and he is some 30 laps down.
To restart this thing.
There's Scott Goodyear coming in.
Where you at?
And this is Goodyear, yeah. You can hear him talking to the crew. Get ready to restart it, so he might have ran the thing out of fuel. But fortunately, he's made pit lane.
Yeah, it sounds kind of quiet on the onboard camera microphone there. But he will make it to the pits, but he's not even doing 80 miles an hour. And here comes Kenny Breck in right behind him. And you'll see Kenny go past into his pit.
I think Kenny was underpowered. I'm not sure Scott was.
Right. Ralph?
Mike, he was definitely out of power when he came in. He came in silent. Now they go around with to fire it up. They were only taking on tires and fuel. They're trying to refire the car. It's not turning over yet. This is hurting Scott Goodyear. Nothing yet. No life to the engine yet. They're trying to get it going now. It starts to come to life. Scott Goodyear will finally lead.
Well, Ralph, he was about the 4th place car, and he almost lost it coming out of the pit there.
Well, they get a little bit of a hurry, but that's not good on these things when they run them dry on fuel, and sometimes they don't like that very much.
Well, we'll find out soon enough if Goodyear may have burned a piston or caused some other engine damage from that engine running too lean with no fuel. He was in the top 5 and comes out in 9th place, and he may be 2 laps down to the race leader. With Mark Dismore back in for another stop. As Jeff Ward leads the winner of the last race, John Paul Jr. And coming back in.
Jeff Ward.
Excuse me, that's Jeff Ward, the race leader.
Again, a scheduled stop.
Now, this should just about complete the pit stop cycle. Ward was in not long ago, unless he's having difficulty. Ralph?
Mike, no difficulties here. They're trying to run their pit strategy to put themselves in a good position. They'll make half a twist to the front wing to take out a bit of a push. Outside of that, just wheels and fuel, and he's underway.
A car in the wall out of turn 4, and that's Donnie Beechler. Grinding to a halt here, just about 300 feet shy of the start-finish line. And the man who will greatly benefit from all this is John Paul Jr. Winner in Texas just a couple of weeks ago. Because, according to Greg Fieldsley here in the booth, John Paul Jr. has not pitted in this sequence and may be well up on the field.
Well, you can see Donnie's got the wheel off, so it appears as though he's not doesn't have a big problem, but that's a real tough break because he had a great run going.
John Paul last pitted at lap 62 during a full course caution. We're now at lap 110, so he will need to stop during this caution, but he may have a leg up on the field here. Donnie Beechler, second in Silver Crown points in 1997 with a win at Terre Haute, is now in the wall, out of the race. We'll be right back. TNN Motorsports coverage of the Pep Boys Indy Racing League is brought to you by Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. We're under caution for the 5th time today. Donnie Beechler's crash, and John Paul Jr. has just made a pit stop. So Buddy Lazier, who last pitted at lap 99, becomes the new leader. Tom passed halfway when they give that 1-to-go sign. Do you think these lead lap cars, would they all be on pit road, or would they run out the cycle of pit stops on fuel?
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch. John Paul really got an advantage from that yellow coming out. But again, he was able to stop under the yellow, so he wasn't under the pressure that those other leaders were.
All right, let's show you what happened to Donnie Beechler, who has brought out this caution flag.
Well, Donnie's the black car, the all black, and that's Lyondike underneath. Now, sometimes when you run up on a guy, you can push air enough that it affected Beechler. He got outside the groove, and once you get up in the gray, the marbles, he just couldn't get the car turned, and into the wall he went. But a lot of times, Lyondike's, the air that Lyondike is pushing will cause Beechler to try to get loose, and when you get loose, you try to not turn the car too hard, not to pinch the car, and when he gets out of the groove and you get up in those marbles, then it's everybody's skate.
Well, Donnie is okay. That's the good news. After a bout with the wall here coming out of turn number 4. So showing out of the race are Jack Miller is out of the race. David Steele, Billy Boat, Greg Ray has retired, Jim Guthrie, and now Donnie Beechler. Let's go to Vince.
Out in the background.
Hey, Vince Welch, where are you?
Actually, I'm up in the seats, fans enjoying the sun and the fun of the Indy Racing League. This is Gary from Las Vegas, and is this your first time here at the Speedway?
Actually, it's my second. I was out here last year and then hooked on it for the first time and couldn't miss it again this year. So definitely wouldn't miss it again. How many times they come? I wish they came here more often.
Do you enjoy listening to the radio communication with the teams on your headset?
No other way to do it. The first year, a buddy of mine let me use his, and after he let me listen to it, there's no other way to watch the race than listen to him on the radio.
Certainly adds some insight. Fans having fun in the stands in Las Vegas.
Yeah, every race fan, it seems, has a seat cushion and funny ears like the ones Ralph's wearing.
Very funny, Mike. But I know you've worn these too, so you can say that. Well, this is Trevor Hoskins. He's the Senior Vice President of Public Affairs for Bridgestone. Firestone, of course, has a huge involvement with the Pep Boys Indy Racing League. And Trevor, congratulations. This is your last Indy Racing League event. Now, that's not a good thing, but you're retiring, and that's a good thing. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, Rolf. It's been a terrific career, over 40 years, much of it spent in motorsport. And the last 10 years with Firestone, which has just been outstanding.
What are you going to do in your off time?
Oh, I'm still going to be interested. I stay as a consultant for Firestone for the next couple of years or so. And I got a lot of things I want to do, build a house in the Pacific Northwest and a few others, and keep my eye on racing too.
Of course, with the Indy Racing League. Now, I know you brought a new left side tire here. After Texas, you guys had a great run there. What's different about the tire here?
Well, we're always trying to be one step ahead of the competition, and we had the opportunity to run whichever tire they wanted to run this weekend. Some are running one of each, some are running both on both sides. But, you know, we always want to give them that choice.
Well, Trevor, thanks a lot for helping make the Pep Boys Indy Racing League the great success that it is with the good tires you folks have provided us.
Thank you very much, Rolf. My pleasure.
Mike, back to you.
Thanks, Ralph. And by the way, those funny ears, they do help block some of that engine noise, too, in addition to helping the folks tune into driver-crew communications. Here's Davey Hamilton. He's one of the drivers that's in contention for this point chase. And Hamilton, 16th position after a long stop here.
But trying to make some corrections under the yellow.
We'll be right back. You're watching TV here in Las Vegas. That's the Valvoline runoffs of the Sports Car Club of America National Championships, live from Mid-Ohio. Mark Dismore is an intent viewer because his son, Mark Jr., just finished second in the Formula Continental class, runner-up to the national champion, and had a great run today. Congratulations.
Well, a happy dad.
Yep, Mark came up through Super V's, and Formula Continental is kind of the spiritual successor to that class. Had a great run. Had a wild race here yesterday. The Formula Mazda Series was here. Tom, when they went into turn 3, 5 cars wide, I mean, it took my breath. It was a great race.
Well, I've always said that poor vision is one of the great characteristics of a good race driver.
And no memory, right? There's Mark. Dismore is not doing quite as well as his son did today. He's running 16th right now.
Actually running as quick as anybody on the racetrack, but again, they had handling problems early.
All right, let's check with Ralph.
Mike, as you mentioned, Davey Hamilton came down pit road, and they've changed 2 things on the car. First, they changed the ECU, which is basically the brains of the car. They also changed the spark box here. This side here takes care of the left side, and the right side is the coil as well. They've changed that as well.
On the restart, Buddy Lazier gets around Sam Schmidt. Schmidt was holding on to the tail end of the lead lap in 5th place.
Yeah, Sammy didn't quite catch it.
A crash in turn 2. Jeff Ward slowed, and Scott Goodyear apparently got into him hard. Goodyear will roll away.
Car 91's in turn 4.
It looked almost as if Ward got loose up in the corner. pedaled it to try to save the car, keep it under control, and Goodyear had momentum and got into the back of him. So caution is out.
You can see the right front tire is just folded back up, but sometimes that can get pretty close to the driver, so that's a tough situation. But
climbing out okay is Scott Goodyear. Wow, that was a hard hit. There was considerable speed differential between he and Jeff Ward. There's Wardy with right front wing damage and right front tire and suspension damage as well.
Well, we got a little report on the radio. He said he felt like he broke a right front wheel or something and then saw Elvis. So I'm not sure what happened there.
And there's all the tire marks on Ward's car. I may have misspoke. It was Ward following Goodyear and got into the back of Scott Goodyear there. So Scott is okay. The car is not. Let's show you what happens here.
Well, again, heavy traffic. Ward on the outside of Lyondike, so making a pass. Goodyear has a problem. Goodyear had to roll out of the throttle, and Ward was in the middle of a big pass and had nowhere to go. Caught him really by surprise, ran right in the back of Goodyear. See, here it again. You can see Goodyear out of the throttle, and Ward, he was on the outside passing Lyondike and some other traffic and had nowhere to go.
These cars have tremendously effective brakes, but at these speeds...
This is in Goodyear's car now. And you can hear him off the throttle, so he knows he has a problem. He's just trying to get out of the way and get slammed from the back side. Again, Goodyear knew he had a problem. He's just trying to get out of everybody's way, and Ward was already committed to the high side. No place to go.
Ralph?
Jeff Ward has just climbed out of the car. Wardy, what happened?
Well, on the restart, I had a good jump as usual, and going around Lyondike, he kind of pinched me up to the wall there, going high in there, and just went around the outside, had some good momentum, and Goodyear's up running high, going about, you know, half the speed of everybody else, and then I just ran right into the back of him. He got on the brakes for some reason. Maybe he was in the marbles, but so I just ran right into the back of him. Nothing I could do.
You climbed out of the car. You feel all right?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I mean, I didn't hit that hard at all. Goodyear probably got the worst of it. He cushioned the wall, but it's unfortunate. I mean, the Thermotech Technologies card, Prolong, Prima Donna Resorts, I mean, I think we had him covered. Again, just another bad luck deal. I just can't believe that he was up that high, you know, running that slow. But when there's a big pack like that, you know, I can't see that far ahead. And when he's on the brakes, for what reason? I had him locked up. I just couldn't stop.
Well, Jeff Ward thought he was en route to his 6th top 5 finish of 1998, and it is not to be, as the wreckers work with Scott Goodyear's car. So we're under caution yet again here at Las Vegas. Buddy Lazier continues to lead Arie Luyendyk and John Paul Jr. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where rolling snake eyes today have been Greg Ray, Billy Boat, Miller, Steele, Beechler, Guthrie, and now Scott Goodyear and Jeff Ward. There is Goodyear's car from the Pennzoil in-car cam, about to go on the hook and out of the race.
Well, tough day for both those guys. I mean, two top 3 or 4 contenders all day between Ward and Goodyear, and again, looks like they ran a lot of numbers on that crab table before they finally rolled the snake eyes.
Yep, had a good run going, all of them. Well, down in the pit road, it's the smell of burning rubber and gear oil, and up where Vince Welch is right now, it's probably suntan lotion. Vince?
It sure is. This is a great view up here at the seats in the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Walt Drummond made the trip all the way from Indianapolis. What brought you out for the race, Walt?
I came out to do a little gambling and see the race. I'm a big IndyCar fan. Had a good time. Arie Luyendyk out here having a good day. He's had a bad year. My favorite driver. I like what Tony George has done with the IRL series, and beautiful day out here. Plenty of seats for you guys who want to come out next year.
Well, it's a good opportunity to come out and enjoy some vacation time and also some great motorsports racing. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much.
How about this gentleman here, sir? What's your name? Where are you from?
Oh, Ray. I live in Las Vegas, originally from Long Island. This is a blast out here. There's a lot of racing, you know. They got the 3/8 modified Scranton mod. The dirt tracks. It's the first time I've been out here.
Do you like the Indy cars?
It's the first time I love them. I got videotapes, 20 years ago, but this is the first rip for me. I love it, you know.
Good deal. Glad you could make it out. Fans enjoying themselves at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Lots of sunshine, lots of fun, suntans galore out here, and a great view to boot at the Las Vegas 500K.
Thanks, Vince. 124 laps are complete of the 208 they'll run today. And in the chase for the championship, Kenny Breck now moves up to 18th position. He will eclipse Jeff Ward in one more lap and move up a notch. Davey Hamilton runs in 15th place. Now, Hamilton is 4 laps back. Breck is 5 laps down. And Buddy Lazier, the race leader, just made a stop. Also on the lead lap, Arie Luyendyk, John Paul Jr., Sam Schmidt, and Brian Tyler and Eddie Cheever are a lap down.
Well, Lazier pitting at that point. He might be able to go the distance with just one more stop, and there might be a question mark about some of these others.
That's the strategy that's being played out right now. We'll be right back with you at Las Vegas. You're watching the Pep Boys Indy Racing League live on TNN Motorsports. This season, Scott Goodyear is mentoring Dave Steele, his teammate at Pennzoil Panther Racing. Steele is one of only 2 drivers to win races this year in each of USAC's 3 national divisions, Midget, Sprint, and Silver Crown. Steele is new to Pep Boys IRL cars. Scott Goodyear had never driven a USAC Midget, so off they went.
Well, this is fun for him right here. I was the same way. I'd never driven a midget until after I'd run Indy cars. And, my introduction was on a mile track, and a midget on a mile is a handful. But this is a lot of fun right here.
So Scott Goodyear got to have a little fun with his teammate David Steele. He's not having much fun right now. He's taken the mandatory trip to the care center after crashing into the turn 2 wall. Some kind of mechanical problem on the car, and then he was tail-ended by Jeff Ward. We are back under green. And again, Sam Schmidt is right out there in front of the leaders as Arie Luyendyk comes up again trying to pin Sam Schmidt 1 lap down.
Well, Sam is on the tail end of that lap, so let's see if he can hold Luyendyk off for a little while.
Trouble, turn 2, 1 car hard in the wall. 2 cars, Roberto Guerrero and Davey Hamilton as the car in the fence.
Again, these restarts, these guys are all packed up. They're all still racing hard, and it's not hard to get together.
And Sam Schmidt is going to get his lap back. He comes across the line ahead of Arie Luyendyk, and will get the free pass around. Well, Davey Hamilton's title chances end right there. And Roberto Guerrero was giving the Infinity-powered car a good ride, number 23.
We saw Davey moving his hand around, but there's not a big attempt for him to get out of the car, so we'll have to wait and see what kind of problems we have there.
7th yellow of the day. Yeah, Bryce Cobb's machine, driven by Guerrero, had found its way up into the top 10.
Again, that car hit awfully hard, and it looks like Davey is having a little trouble trying to get himself out of there.
Yeah, it quickly shed itself of the right side wheels, tires, and suspension. And track workers, they're working with Hamilton right now. We're going to have a look, on-board look from Davey Hamilton's car as to what happened up there on the restart.
And this is Davey. We're on board Davey, and on the outside, touching tires. I mean, that's Guerrero trying to go around the outside. I don't know if that surprised Davey or they came down. It's hard to tell from that angle what happened, but again, Guerrero was going around the outside of Davey Hamilton, and they touched the wheels.
Now you see Davey moving around in the cockpit. They brought over the hydraulic rescue tool just in case some tubes need to be cut away to help get him out of the car, but he is moving around and talking with the care workers there. And it's not sure from that angle, Tom, whether Davey's car was moving up the racetrack or Roberto was coming down, but Roberto's left rear got into Davey's right front, and that was the collision.
Yeah, that's a real tough situation. You know, it's really hard sometimes to tell if you've completely cleared another car, but again, it's close racing, and you got to give each other some room.
Now Davey's climbing out and coming out under his own power, and again, that is good news. The beneficiary of that is Sam Schmidt as Davey Hamilton walks away from $1 million that awaits the Pep Boys IRL champion. Ralph?
Well, Mike, to make matters worse, the crew down here has no idea as to what you've seen. Of course, a lot of frustration for Jamie Gallus and the crew. And, you know, Jamie and Davey, when they got done here this weekend after the season ended to relax, they're going to go run the course that is going to be contested in a few weeks for the Baja 1000 together on a pair of motorcycles with some of their friends. So an already beaten and battered body for Davey Hamilton is going to get even sore in a couple of days.
Yeah, it was pretty hard hit up there between turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's good. That proves how smart us race drivers are, right? Let's go bounce around the desert for 1,000 miles. On a motorcycle?
So we're under caution here. This is the 7th one of the day. Right onto pit road there with Scott Sharp. Ari Lyondike's your race leader. John Paul, Buddy Lazier, and Sam Schmidt. We'll be right back.
Throughout the racing season, crews go beyond the call of duty to make safety first.
Which makes us all even more proud of the American Red Cross relationship with the Indy Racing League.
It's a relationship that's reaching out across America.
Bringing families to Red Cross programs that are saving lives and preventing injuries.
Give your family the tools needed to be prepared for emergencies.
Because we truly believe that putting safety first is putting your family first.
The Indy Racing League and the American Red Cross, keeping communities safe across America.
Come on, baby, let's see what you got. It's gonna be huge. This is gonna be huge.
It's the bargain of the month from Coast to Coast, Service-Star, and True Value. This month, there's lots to cheer about with a Rayovac flashlight, a Kitty fire extinguisher, or insulating foam.
Go, baby! Go, baby! Go, baby! I told you it was gonna be insulating foam. You got the gift. Thank you.
Bargain of the month. It's a very, very big deal.
Yeah.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop and go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world, and it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
Most gas additives don't stand up to 104 Plus Octane Boost. Octane Boost eliminates hesitation and increases horsepower on the street and off the road. 104 Plus Octane Boost kicks gas. Guaranteed. Take no prisoners. 104 Plus Octane Boost.
Welcome back to Las Vegas. Sun-drenched crowd here on hand for the Pep Boys Indy Racing League finale, and Kenny Brett getting closer to that $1 million, at least $1 million. To win the championship today, he would split $1 million with a fan who entered that Pep Boys MCI sweepstakes if he were to also win the race. And, of course, the winner's purse for this race is over $100,000 for this individual race. So he'll be taking a lot of money out of the Speedway. The question will be if he can take it out of Las Vegas.
That's always a tougher job, but he's getting reminded by AJ on the radio quite often that we might have thrown $1 million away, but let's not throw both millions away.
In the positions they're in right now, with Breck now 15 and Davey Hamilton out of the race, there's a 32-point spread. Tony Stewart is still in the race. He's in 22nd position, many laps down. And Scott Sharp may have a chance to move up in the standings before the day is over. Vince has caught up with Scott Goodyear.
Scott Goodyear and his wife Leslie seated. Good news is, Scott, you're okay. What happened? Explain the situation.
Well, on the restart, we got a little bit high. Didn't go as fast as we needed to through there. It looked like we're going to marbles. Really had it collected. We got tagged from behind, so I guess there was some stuff going on behind us. But, you know, we didn't have a great time getting qualified here, but we really had a good race car today. Got all the way up to 3rd, and we had one thing after another this weekend, including the telemetry being wrong. We ran out of fuel a lap and a half before it should have. So we had to coast down the pits, restart the car, lost a couple of laps, wanted to try and make at least a lap back on that restart. And good race car. The guys worked hard this weekend. Everybody in the Pennzoil team did a great job. And we'll start testing next week with everybody to get ready for 99. And I'd like to thank everybody with Pennzoil and Northern Telecom and Hard Rock Cafe. They all supported us this year, and we'll be back next year.
As a veteran driver, we've seen a lot of problems on the restarts. Why?
Well, you know, everybody's trying to make up time, and you can get 2 and 3 abreast around here if everybody gives everybody room, and sometimes you're driving a little hard, the cars slide a little bit, obviously, with the tires not maybe being up to temperature, and then you start running out of room and crowding people, and I was on the high side and ended up getting hit from behind, and I understand whoever it was maybe got pinched himself, so it's one of those racing deals, you know, but the good thing is we'll just get ready, and we start testing next week at the Speedway for 99. On we go.
We'll look forward to it. Scott Goodyear back in business in Orlando in January.
There is Davey Hamilton's car going off on the hook, and his championship chances with it for he and Mean House Motorsports, who've had a great season, but again will come up winless next year. 11 races right now are listed on the schedule, beginning again at Walt Disney World in January, Phoenix in March. The month of May has Charlotte and the Indianapolis 500. In June, Texas and Pikes Peak. In July, Atlanta. August, Dover Downs, and again Pikes Peak. Will be here at Las Vegas in September and conclude the season at Bruton Smith's Texas Motor Speedway October 17th. All of the Pep Boys IRL races will be televised, and we're all waiting just to find out by whom.
Well, it was interesting to hear Scott, you know, pretty relaxed in that situation, but it sums up how hard these guys run and how close they run to the limits, because, again, they're trying to get everything they can, and if you get over the edge just a little bit and out in that gray, it causes serious problems.
We're under caution, and Sam Schmidt just made a pit stop. A very smart move by the last driver on the lead lap. He is 4th, and they have the pit equipment laid out for Ari Leindock. I thought he might come in this time, but he may be waiting for the 1 to go signal. I think anybody who pits now could comfortably make it on 1 more stop. Some of the other drivers perhaps not so.
Yeah, it'd be easy to make it on 1, but there's no way they can try to do it without stopping again. But again, it's under the yellow, and this is the time to take on fuel.
All right, we'll check when we come back who stopped and who didn't. Ari Leindock leads John Paul, Buddy Lazier, and Sam Schmidt. Those are the 4 cars on the lead lap. We'll be right back to Las Vegas.
Since you and my little girl are moving away, there's one thing you need to know. 10-10-3-2-1.
You think she'll call her mother a lot?
Yes, and hopefully her father, too. But you'll be glad that 10-10-3-2-1 saves you big time on your phone bill.
Will they talk long?
That's the beauty part. It doesn't matter. 10-10-3-2-1 saves you 50% on every call over 20 minutes.
50%? That's big.
That's huge. So those half-hour talks with her mom are going to cost you a lot less.
Dad, are you giving away the family secret?
I gave him the best one I have.
Dial 10-10-321 to save.
It's amazing, but I feel like I'm finally free. Like I'm flying. It's like I'm king of the world.
Steve, you got a great deal on the fog lights. We're all very proud.
Now, get 4 of our 35,000-mile tires, only $99, or double your mileage with 4 70,000-mile tires, just $169.
Get your head in the car.
Pep Boys. Cars like us. People love us.
1 lap ago, they waved the green. There you see Robbie Buell going to get one of his 2 laps, or one of his 3 laps back from Ari Lyondike, the black and white car on the left.
You can see Cheever trying to give Lyondike some stress, but just can't quite get her done.
Well, Cheever had Brian Tyler there right underneath him, and Tyler's now settled in a few car lengths back. And Lyondike got past Robbie Buell once again. So there's Lyondike, your race leader. It's 5.5 seconds back to John Paul, Buddy Lazier, and Sam Schmidt. And let's catch up with one of the other driver involved in the Davey Hamilton crash. Here's Vince.
With Roberto Guerrero. Roberto, it's a tough day out there today. A lot of traffic and a lot of guys going front and back.
Yeah, it's too bad. You know, it's been a very interesting day trying to
and these drivers are able to run wheel to wheel, but again, you know, sometimes they're a little too overconfident in some of these situations.
Battle for 9th place going on here. Robbie Unser, Marco Greco, Raul Boisel. Wrapped all up in that one. And one car slows in the midst of that battle.
That's Boisel. I'm not sure what happened to Raul.
Going into turn 1, he's just way off the power and going to limp it on around. Now, Boisel was running in 11th place and coast down off the racetrack. Reguar makes a pit stop. pit road. And because the pit road speed limit, the 80 miles an hour, doesn't stop for about another 600 feet down pit road before the speed limit's in effect, a lot of drivers have been really coming in hot off the banking, off making that transition. And in this case, in Stan Waddell's case, the transition was just so sharp it unloaded the car and just brought the back end right around.
Well, very similar. Tony Stewart, we saw Tony do it earlier in the race. So, you know, a tough little spot there, and they're on the ragged edge.
And they're trying to push Stan Waddell to get him hooked up behind the tow vehicle to bring him down pit road for his stop. Now, it looks like most of the teams caught by this caution flag and lapped by John Paul, the new leader. He is ahead, and he is going to stay on the lead lap. So then, when the other drivers on the lead lap make stops, he should be the leader.
This is Stan Waddell's here, the black car. You can see just trying to pinch it, getting into the pits, and the back end comes around.
So Leyendijk gets the free pass, and he stays on the lead lap. Here's another look.
Again, just down on the flat. Still running over 100 miles an hour.
On the banking. Might not even be
miles.
See if time. Everybody's in for all the fuel you can get. New tires, Ralph.
Get to that. Run to the checkers. Then.
It was indeed their last stop. Up at the pylon, and your number's on top. It's a good day.
Buddy Lazier stopped 13.1 seconds. John Paul Jr. was about 12 seconds flat.
Well, I'll tell you what, the pit stop was faster than the buffet line down for the cafeteria.
Yes, it was. 100, 68 laps complete. 40 laps to go. Pit stops completed. We're ready to run for the checkers. We are back under green.
Well, Leyendijk got a good restart. The one that suffered a little bit there was Buddy. He didn't quite keep the gap closed. John Paul's right on Leyendijk, but Buddy lost a little bit.
Mid-pack Steve Knapp a bit slow coming up to speed. Anxious moment for the cars around him. But now everyone back in front of his. Thus far in the race, miraculously or not, free of the engine trouble that has just plagued that team the last couple of races.
Yeah, it's been horrendous, and you know, that's only one of the teams that made major changes this weekend for the final race, and everybody else had a little bit of problems with that conversion situation, but so far, Leyendijk, it's worked out well.
Well, Leyendijk's the leader. Here's John Paul, who is 1.4 seconds behind. Let's show you the separation here. There is first to second. Now, Buddy Lazier is 4.1 seconds behind the leader, and Sam Schmidt is right with him.
We got trouble on the front straightaway. Robbie Unser.
Yeah, he comes, slows, and drops to the track apron. did not impact the wall.
No, it did a tremendous speed wobble coming off of turn 4, but then he got it down on the apron and without any big incident. But he's going right to pit lane.
And we stay green. Here comes Schmidt after Lazier. Start-finish line headed for turn 1.
Oh, close racing.
Schmidt's going to take him.
Buddy, again, that last pit stop, they must have loosened the car up too much and made the wrong adjustment because Buddy's falling back.
What a great run for Sam Schmidt here today.
It's interesting. These cars are so finely tuned. We heard on the pit stop that the car started to get a little push towards the end of that segment. They probably adjusted for that little push that they thought the car was developing and just got overboard or just went over the fine line. And it doesn't take too much. It's a fine art out there to try to keep these cars balanced.
So Lazier's misfortune is good fortune for Sam Schmidt. Caution is out. Yellow waves on the Speedway. And this will be the 9th one of the day. Apparently there was a lot of fluid leaking from Robbie Unser's car. So Brian Barnhart and the Pep Boys Indy Racing League officials have brought the caution out.
Well, the interesting part is it looked like John Paul was actually starting to close the gap on Lyondike. So after they run a few laps, it appears though John Paul is able to pick up the pace against Lyondike.
The caution actually is for Mark Dismore, who has brushed the wall at turn 2. There's some fresh tire marks up there at the exit of turn 2, and that was from Dismore.
Well, it's amazing. You heard, we heard on that interview with Davey Hamilton how it's a bull ring out there. The cars are sliding around, and it wasn't too long ago when you thought about bull rings, you're thinking about quarter-mile tracks. Now we're at 1.5 miles of high-speed racetracks, and they're calling these places bull rings. So
hard to imagine.
It's amazing.
There's the where Mark Dismore got into the wall at the exit of turn number 2. You saw the corresponding.
The cap to see if you've won the $250,000 home grand prize, or one of 10,000 VersaPack power tools, or a $10,000 home workshop. Stop, go, and Doyle.
It's amazing, but I feel like I'm finally free. It's like I'm king of the world.
Pep Boys, great prices, great feeling.
Pep Boys, cars like us, people love us.
Husky, the toughest name in tools. Guaranteed forever. Available at the Home Depot.
Yeah, would you please welcome Kyle Petty.
You miss a cord, you break a string, it doesn't hurt, man. You miss the corner out here at Rockingham, it hurts the next morning. You know what I mean? You don't get out of bed that quick. So, I mean, I've embarrassed myself in front of 150,000 people. I never played to many people more than 25 or 30, so you miss a word, it didn't make any difference, man. It was just a lot of fun. Anytime somebody comes up with something, I'm like, yeah, I'll just try it one time. You know, I don't care. And that was a good deal. I mean, you know, I enjoyed it, met a lot of people, saw how the other half lives and saw how the other half works. And, you know, like I said, I wouldn't trade the experience for $10 million. I mean, it was just a lot of fun to do. And like I say, if the opportunity came back at some point in time, I may try it again.
Just dropped the green flag half a lap ago. Ari Lyondike jumps out from the field. John Paul Jr. was not that quick on the restart. Sam Schmidt put a whole big stack of chips on the table and then pulled them back before the next card was turned. He got up alongside for second place, thought better of it, and Buddy Lazier got back by him.
Well, it was a good race going on there through the first corner. I mean, these guys haven't slowed up any, and Sam came out in the short end of that, but I think once he gets his momentum back up, he'll be all right.
Got a good car today. Wyandyke the leader, John Paul second, Lazier third, Schmidt fourth. Brian Tyler is fifth, 1 lap back. Eddie Cheever is sixth. 2 laps down, Robbie Buell and Marco Greco. Steve Knapp is 3 laps back. Then Kenny Breck in 10th, who is the IRL champion.
I mean, some great racing on these restarts. I mean, these guys running 2-3 wide and little mistakes. Sam was scratching on the gray side of the racetrack and was able to save it. And again, he's coming back after Lazier for that 4th position.
Schmidt needs a good result here, but he needs to finish more than anything, and that's what he's working at right now.
Again, you got to give a call to Brian Tyler, running 6th, doing a great job.
And Kenny Breck was asked in that press conference yesterday among the 3 title contenders. There had been a lot of speculation that he might move to a different open wheel series next year, and he says, no, I expect to be back here. He said, unless something happens that he didn't know about, he intends to be right back here with A.J. Foyt in the Pep Boys IRL next year.
Well, it's one of the best teams in the series right now, and you know, the series is getting stronger, so it's a lot of good racing. Close racing is what's really enjoyable from the driver's standpoint, and these guys are getting all of that they want.
Now, his sponsor, Power Team, is again another of the number of companies involved in the series that may not be consumer goods companies, but they market surplus electric power among the different utility and power companies around the country. Kind of like a stock exchange, except it's in kilovolts and kilowatts instead of currency.
Well, they'll probably use up some of that excess energy tonight celebrating that championship.
I think so.
Sam Schmidt here, he's got the run back on Buddy on the inside.
Yeah, this takes the groove away and sends Buddy up high.
Well, Buddy, a little more seasoned on the restart, got a good run on him, but once they got strung out, and after a few laps as the tires heat up, the balance on Sam's car is obviously a little bit better right now than the balance on Buddy's car.
So Sam Schmidt sets off in chase of John Paul Jr., and John Paul is trying to close the gap on leader Arie Luyendyk. Right now it stands at 1.6 seconds. And we have 19 laps to go in the 3rd season of the Indy Racing League. Next door to the tower, IRL founder Tony George, league president Leo Mell, driver coach Al Unser Sr., and Clarence Gilliard, who you better know is Ranger Trevette from the CBS hit series Walker, Texas Ranger. Big, huge race fan, and he's been up in the tower the whole race. Having a good time here.
That's good, Kemosabe.
Watching now is Lazier holds back Eddie Cheever. Cheever is they're a lap apart on the Speedway.
And Eddie, again, is one of the quickest cars on the racetrack right now. He got lapped down, and he almost got that lap back when Waddle spun in the pits, but they just couldn't quite take advantage of Waddle's spin. It was very close, and he could have got the lap back.
All right, we'll be back with the finish of the Las Vegas 500K. Bring down the curtain on the Pep Boys Indy Racing League for 1998 right after this. You're watching TNN.
and save her $400 a month. She even gets a reward for making payments on time. Automatic reductions on the interest rate. Hey, Victoria, you did it.
The Money Store. 1-800-OWN-YES.
Get ready for some high-speed, non-stop action.
Join host Jeff Gordon for TNN Salute the Motorsports.
It's gonna be a winner.
You'll have a front row seat for critical points races in Winston Cup, Busch Grand National, and NHRA drag racing.
Plus, there's great racing specials featuring the fast and the famous.
You'll see profiles of racing's pioneers and rock as country music celebrates the 50th.
We're under caution again.
A sitting duck in the middle of the racetrack. In fact, motor, that's one good way to try to restrict the kind of power these motors develop. And it doesn't matter what kind of racing you're talking about. If you don't modify the rules consistently, you know, these guys are going to figure out ways to go faster and faster. It just, some things never change. And keeping it under control without the cost going up is a tough job for the officials.
So we come around with 9 laps to go, and Buddy Lazier is in the pit lane. Tires laid out for Lazier. He is the last car in the lead lap. That's the strategy Sam Schmidt employed a little earlier. Ralph's there.
Well, Mike, they're going to work on tires on the car. They're going to change tires on the right side. Engine revs are up. A little fuel, and Lazier's underway.
Well, he had nothing to lose, Tom. He was the last car in the lead lap. And
yeah, he really did. The unfortunate thing is he only has a few laps left, and he's going to have a lot of traffic to work through, but it's a gamble. I mean, he knew he couldn't do anything with Sam in third with the condition the car was in, so, you know, let's go for it. Let's give it our best shot. Let's make that adjustment, put some tires on the thing, and maybe we can get a restart that'll get us in contention.
Let's show you what happened to Stan Waddles. Coming off turn 4.
You can see he's already out of the groove there, so he's, you know, he's got his fingernails dug into the steering wheel right there once he got out of the groove. And again, it tank slapped a little bit. He thought he had it corrected, went one way, and then he just couldn't quite catch up with it, and it spun into the outside wall.
Waddles, who came out of Formula Ford and sports car endurance racing, moved up to Formula Atlantics, Formula 2000.
This is where you're cussing at yourself, and usually you don't have the radio button, so anybody else can hear your excitement over your last move.
Well, Arie Luyendyk will take the restart as the leader. There is at least a one-lapped car separating him from John Fall. Let's go to the pits of the leaders and see what's going to happen here in these last couple of laps. First to Ralph.
Mike, we're with Skip Paul, his chief mechanic. Skip, you got one more restart to deal with. Are you concerned about it?
No, we've been good all day on restarts. This car has just been awesome. And we've been pulling away from John Paul every time on these last two restarts, so we should be all right.
You had a push earlier. Is that gone?
Yeah, we worked on that with the weight jacker and some roll bar stuff, so the car's been pretty good all day. Little tweaks here and there.
Vince?
Jonathan Bird with Jonathan Bird Cunningham Racing, of course, the car of John Paul Jr. You won the last event, and you're in position to win this one, but you got to get not only by Arie Luyendyk, but you've got to get by Steve Knapp, who's between the two.
Well, right now we're trying to see why Knapp is there. We think that Arie actually passed him on the yellow, but the IRL has ruled that he hasn't, so we're going to have to just go ahead and try to do the best we can with the thing. The Visionaire Bryant heating and cooling car has been given a really great ride by John Paul, and we're just really happy with the whole thing. I just told him to use his head. He's the man, and we'll take what's there. And right now we're worried about taking first and staying ahead of third. So this is a great race. The IRL is providing fantastic entertainment for everyone. I hope the fans are loving this as much as we are.
One lap to go to the restart. Up front will be Lyondike. Then that lap car, then John Paul and Sam Schmidt will be nose to tail. Now just behind them, there's John Paul in the red car you saw. Just behind them, battling for 5th place, will be Eddie Cheever and Brian Tyler, nose to tail and on the same lap. So this could get big.
Well, it could, and this is a situation where they ought to let these leaders get right together. I mean, this is a situation where you ought to get the lap cars out of the way. Maybe have 2 abreast restarts on these things, and you know, some of the other series look at some of that stuff. But you know, the fans want to see you know, the 2nd place guy have a shot at that 1st place guy, and you know, we're not going to see the best that we could, but you know, hopefully the lap car will give those guys some room, and it looks like he is. He's slowed down, and he's going to let those guys go at it, but Lyondike's able to get a couple of tar lanes.
And here comes Sam Schmidt. We're back under green. Schmidt has a run on John Paul. This is for 2nd place. It'll give Lyondike quite a cushion. Side by side for 2nd. Schmidt around the outside. He takes it.
Oh, John Paul lost the front end. He lost the air. He got way out of the groove, but he got it back down. He saves it.
Did he lose a piece of that wing? He did. The right front wing is gone on John Paul's car. Brian Tyler comes up on him, and he can't clear John Paul, so Tyler won't have much of a run at Cheever. There's the winglet from the right front. Gone.
Here's the pass. There's Sam around the outside. They actually touch it. You see the wings fly off to the right, and obviously without that front wing, you're going to lose a lot of front downforce, and it's very hard to turn the car at that time.
So did Schmidt hit John Paul?
Well, they definitely touched, because that's what caused the wing to fly off.
Now here's Tyler going past Paul. This is not for position. Tyler needs to try and catch Cheever, and that's going to be tough to do in these remaining 4 laps. Now Lazier goes past John Paul. That's for 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, poor John Paul is helpless. I mean, without that front wing, and they can't stop to try to correct it at this late stage. So,
nope. He's going to be the 4th place car. So Ari Lyondike, since June of '97, has not visited Victory Lane, and on that night he came to Victory Lane, got escorted out, didn't get his trophy and check till the next morning. But today will be a little more fulfilling for the Flying Dutchman. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, they might have to share a winner's circle this time, because White with the national championship and Lyondike with the race win.
I think it'll be a much happier scene. White flag in the air for Ari Lyondike.
Sam hasn't given up on him. I mean,
nope.
You know, Lyondike's not getting away from Schmidt, but he's going to need a little help.
Schmidt's closing in. Turn 2. It's about 1 second, 1st to 2nd, and Schmidt is eating up that distance. There it is. Coming off turn 4, final lap. Sam Schmidt, in the drive of his career, just runs out of time. Ari Lyondike scores his 4th career Pep Boys Indy Racing League win. It's a career best